Good morning. What is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah, also Sarah's Faves on Instagram, and it is 7:33 in the morning. That is why the lighting is pretty dark in here, because the sun hasn't fully risen yet. But as you saw, I already made my coffee. Billy got me the Ember mug for Christmas, so it keeps your drink warm. The only downside is it needs to charge all the time. I feel like after every use I need to charge it, which is fine because it comes on like this little saucer thing that you just stick it on, and I keep it plugged in. But anywho, today we are going to do, you might have guessed it, a book vlog, which I haven't done yet. I feel like I sprinkle in like books and my favorite books and current reads and TBR into a lot of my videos, but I wanted to do like a full book vlog recapping 2023 books. Goodreads, which is the app I use, I'll have my link below if you want to add me as a friend on there. They sent out like kind of a year in review sort of thing, so I wanted to go through that together. And then what I also thought could be fun is going through books that I have on my bookshelf that I haven't yet read, that I definitely want to read, and then going through my Kindle Unlimited and some of my TBR there. So if you're not already subscribed, please make sure to do so. It really supports my channel. I love having each and every one of you here. And the reason this also, came up as something I wanted to do is because I was DMing back and forth with a follower on Instagram who's also subscribed to my channel, and they were like, I love your book content, you should do more book content, yada yada yada, on YouTube. So here we are, we're doing it. Today's vlog is going to be all about books. It probably won't be super long. I'm thinking about like 20 minutes. So if you're into books, you want to know what I'm reading in the new year and my favorite books of 2023, stay tuned. If you're more for the day in the life content, maybe try it out, maybe not, and I'll see you in the next one. But let's dive in. I wanted to go through my 2023 like Goodreads wrap up. So I'm gonna grab my iPad and we'll go through that together. So I have my iPad. It was funny, I was telling Billy, I think I bought this iPad this year, and I was like, honestly, the only gadget I've gotten a lot of use out of, like not only, but I feel like I use my iPad the most out of really anything that I do have, which is good because I was hesitant to buy it. But let's go ahead and go to my books. What I'm gonna try and do, and I don't know if I'll be able to do this, is I know creators and I know there's a way to like pull up a screen recording over here. So I'm gonna try and do that of my phone so that you can see what I'm looking at. If not, I'm sorry, you'll just have to go to my Goodreads profile. And if it's overexposed, also sorry, like I said, it's only like 7:40 in the morning. So lighting might be a little wonky, but let's go through my 2023 year in books. So I read 23,318 pages and 65 books. My goal last year was to read 50 books. So I just surpassed it by 15, which I kind of started to slow down, I would say November, December timeframe, which I think is totally fine. I feel like that's pretty common. Either you slow down over the holidays or you read a lot more. For me, when I travel, I read less just because I'm so busy throughout the day. And then over the holidays, I read less just because Billy and I had a lot of time together, didn't want to be like reading the whole time, that sort of thing. So I read 65 books. My shortest book was All the Lies by Nicola Sanders, 215 pages. And my longest book was Iron Flame, 640 pages. If you know, you know. That's the sequel to The Fourth Wing. My average book length in 2023 was 358 pages. My most shelved book, so that means that like a lot of people on Goodreads also had this either on like their TBR or something they read. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, as I'm sure you've all already heard about that book. It's a super good read, so that makes sense. And then the least shelved was I Forgot to Die by Khalil Rafati. He is the owner of Sun Life, and that is an amazing, amazing, amazing book. But it totally makes sense. I feel like a lot of people don't know like his story, and like that he even has a book and stuff, so it makes sense that that one is the least shelved. My average rating for 2023 was 3.6. The highest rated on Goodreads that I read was Fourth Wing, so 4.6 average. My first review of the year was Jodi Picoult, The Storyteller, 5 stars. That was the second time I read that book, or maybe third. I love that book. It's my favorite World War II Holocaust book, and it is fiction, but obviously a lot of the elements are like fairly real or come from real stories, and I rated that 5 stars because it's my favorite. And then it just goes through all my other books and shows you kind of like what I rated the highest. So I'll go through my highest rated. So those will be like, let's say my top books of 2023. And then we can dive into my 2024 reading goal, some stuff on my TBR, and then what I'm hoping to read off my shelf. So for highest rated, Jodi Picoult, The Storyteller, obviously 5 stars. This Is How It Always Is by Laurie Frankel. I also gave that 5 stars. That book is beautiful and so good. Carrie Soto Is Back. I rated 4 stars. That is a Taylor Jenkins Reid. The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. I rated 5 stars. That is also such a good read. It tells the story of 2 women. Basically, they were either twins or sisters, separated at birth, so to speak, both of color, and one is raised in more of like a white privileged area and the other is not. So it really just tells the different stories of them and like how they come together at the end. That was beautiful. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I believe I rated a 4. The Collected Regrets of Clover, that was amazing. I rated that a 5. That is about essentially a woman who, her name is Clover, and she's a death doula. So it's like all about how she guides people to death, but then also like her life and that kind of stuff. So I read it a bit ago, I can't quite remember, but that was very good. Jennette McCurdy, I'm Glad My Mom Died. I rated that 5 stars. That was amazing. I heard the audiobook is really good because she also is the voice of that. Remarkably Bright Creatures, I rated 5 stars. Absolutely loved that book. Fourth Wing, I also rated 5 stars. And then Beneath a Scarlet Sky, I rated 5 stars. And that one is by Mark Sullivan. So those are like my 4 to 5 star reviews. Loved all of those books. I'll have them all listed below as well. So if you don't want to go to my Goodreads, you can just go on like Amazon or support your local bookstore or Kindle or anything like that. And then my last review of the year was The Club by Ellery Lloyd. I rated it 2 stars. Took me a very long time to get through. First 60% was like pulling teeth. Last 40% was good enough to keep reading. Wouldn't recommend, but enjoyed it in the end. So that was unfortunately my last book that I read of 2023. But 65 books in a year, I feel really good about that. And then my goals and stuff for 2024, let's go through together now. So for 2024, I kept the same goal at 50 books. I didn't want to be like, okay, Sarah, you read 65 books in 2023. Let's have you read 75 books in 2024. That just didn't feel doable for me. Of course, if I surpass the 50 again, great. If not, I know that I had like a really big reading year this year for 2023, so I feel okay if I, for some reason, don't get there. But my reading challenge, like I said, at 50. Goodreads tracks your reading, which I like. I know a couple other creators use Storygraph, but I feel like because I'm already on Goodreads, I don't want to like move everything over, if that makes sense. I'm used to this. I like it. I really would love the interface to change, but I don't know when that will come. And then for my TBR, so books I want to read, to be read, I currently have on there, and honestly, I probably need to go through this and change it because I feel like my TBR I don't use as much as I would like to. But The Help is on there. I've never read The Help. I've actually never seen the movie either, so I want to read that. The Alice Network, Lilac Girls, Genius Foods by Max Lugavre. I don't know how to say his name, but Become Smarter, Happier, More Productive While Protecting Your Brain for Life. Basically about foods to eat for brain health. That one's not like super high on my list, but I am interested in what he has to say. 28 Summers by Ellen Hilderbrand. The Night Swim by Rachel Kroll. Thank You for Listening, Julia Whalen. Behind Closed Doors, like I'm pretty sure I've read that book. So I'm just gonna remove that book from my shelf. And then, let's see, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. The Last Word by Taylor Adams. The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. The Villa, Rachel Hawkins, and Half Moon by Mary Beth Keane. So those are on my TBR. Honestly, there's none of those that I feel like super drawn to that I like want to read now. So I definitely need more recommendations of books that people are liking. And I'm gonna go through and watch some other like booktube vloggers to see what they have. Not saying I'm a booktube vlogger, but I want to see what they have to recommend just so that I can kind of like build my TBR a little bit more, because I feel like it needs a little bit of work. And then currently reading, so let's grab that. I'm currently reading Dreamland by Nicholas Sparks. I haven't read a Nicholas Sparks book in like years, but Billy got this for me for Christmas in my stocking. And honestly, I'm on page 84 and it's pretty good so far. So I'm like, was this made into a movie? Because the story sounds kind of familiar, but I will read the back to you all. It's definitely like probably going to be a pretty quick read. It's 340-ish pages, so pretty average to the books I like to read. But it says, Colby Mills once dreamed of a career as a singer-songwriter until tragedy intervened. Now running a small farm in North Carolina, he impulsively agrees to play a short gig at a beach bar in Florida, a rare break from his responsibilities at home. But when he meets Morgan Lee, their connection is instantaneous and undeniable. A talented singer herself, Morgan is determined to move to Nashville and become a star. And in her ambitions, Colby hears an echo of his own forgotten dreams, making him seriously question his choices for the first time. While they're falling headlong in love, Beverly is on a heart-pounding journey of another kind. Fleeing an abusive husband with her 6-year-old son, she is struggling to survive as she tries to begin a new life in a rural town. But in the end, she will make a desperate decision that will rewrite everything she knows to be true. In the course of a single unforgettable week, 2 young people will navigate the exhilarating heights and heartbreak of first love. Hundreds of miles away, Beverly will put her love for her young son to the test, and fate will draw all 3 people together as each of them risks everything for the chance for a better life. So it's good so far. I don't know if it's something like I would pick up off the shelf right away, because I haven't read Nicholas Sparks, like I said, in a while. I feel like I read him a lot when I was younger, but he is a pretty good author. I mean, it's pretty simple to read, like there's not too much going on, but I like that it's told from both perspectives of Colby and Beverly, and I think also the girl Morgan at one point comes into play. But I am curious like how both those stories are going to come together, because I don't know, maybe like Morgan and Beverly are related or something, not really sure. But that is that book. And then I don't keep a lot of books on a bookshelf. I usually will donate books I've read to Half Price Books in Austin. They have a bunch of locations throughout Texas, probably throughout the United States as well. So I don't really keep a lot of books on my bookshelf, since I usually just read from my Kindle anyways. But I have 4 that I want to read. 2 are nonfiction and 2 are fiction. So let's go through those together. So for fiction, Billy also got me this book. It is called The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. And it's actually set in a really small town. I've read 6 pages of it, so that's where I was. But it's set in a small town in Italy that I've actually been to, called Orvieto. So that was what made me excited about reading this book, and it's only like 270 pages. So I feel like once I get into it, like maybe 50 pages in, I'll feel into it. So this is definitely one that I want to read. Probably not going to read it soon, just because it feels like more of a summary read, and I'm traveling, and so I'll usually just bring my Kindle when I travel, which means I need to finish this book like by tomorrow. So we'll try and read a lot today. And then the second fiction book is called Final Girls by Riley Sager. I got this book in like a Yankee swap. It was a book of the month, and I know Carter Sullivan read it and said it was like okay, not her favorite, not her least favorite of his. So I'll read it. It just seems like kind of mystery thriller-esque. Like it says First there were 3, then there were 2. Can there only ever be one final girl? So she was like the only survivor of basically a massacre, it sounds like. Horror movie scale massacre. So we'll see it. It looks like it should be okay. Kind of creepy, but I'm definitely gonna read it because once I read these 2, like if I'm not like, oh my God, they're a 5-star book, I only really keep 5-star books on my shelf. Like I have the Storyteller and Beneath the Scarlet Sky on my shelf. And then like poetry books and stuff, which I saw and put in some B-roll earlier on, but these I'll donate to half price books, probably get like $3, but still I'd rather them go like to a different home. And then nonfiction, a book I'm already about, let's see, 63 pages into, is called Pure OCD, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder by Chrissy Hodges. So I have OCD, I have pure OCD, which is basically just having like the obsessive intrusive thoughts. And I know it's fairly common. So reading through this book and hearing about somebody else's experience is like really, really helpful for me. So I definitely want to make another dent in this book. Like I said, I'm 63 pages through, so I should be able to, you know, pick it up. It's definitely like a heavier read just because it's something like I struggle with. So I haven't always wanted to pick it up, but it's definitely on my list of books I want to read this year. And then the second nonfiction book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'm 14 pages through this one, and this has won bestseller like over and over and over again in nonfiction. And it's about basically like changing your habits, finding small habits and stuff like that, which I'm super stoked about. I feel like I have pretty good habits, so it's kind of hard for me to get into because I'm like, okay, what else should I be doing, or kind of how to frame my habits and stuff like that. But it is interesting to hear all like the science and stuff behind it. So I'm super excited to continue reading both of those. And then I can only read one fiction and one nonfiction together. Like I am not a mood reader. I have to finish a book and start a new book. So that's why you don't see me constantly like reading all different books, recommending a lot of different books, because I like to read one book at a time. So yeah, Nicholas Sparks' Dreamland is the one I'm currently reading. Like I said, I'll probably honestly bring it with me on the trip if I can't finish it, because I don't know if I'll be able to finish this today. I don't really have time. And then final thing for my Kindle is I have Kindle Unlimited, so I get a lot of books through there, which I absolutely love. A lot of them are like thriller or Frida McFadden, but The Villa, actually, which is the book I do have, came out on Kindle Unlimited. So I like to have a book as a hard copy that I can read like chilling on the couch if I want to disconnect, and then also be able to read before bed at night. So I really like that. And then I'll just kind of keep going through my Kindle Unlimited to see what it is that I have that I want to read, or maybe stuff that I haven't read and stuff like that. So the Kindle Oasis is my favorite. I absolutely love it. And then the only other little accessory I have for reading is this book light that I use at night. So you basically just light it up like that and then put it on the back of your book. And so when I'm in bed, I'm able to, whoa, it's really bright. I'm able to see what I'm reading. So that and my Kindle, and then all the other books that I do have are my favorites. But that is really all. That is my 2023, what I read, kind of recap, year in review of all my books, and then 2024, what I want to read. Still building up my TBR list. I feel like I'm not as in tune with like new releases and stuff like that. So being a reader, that's something I want to get into, especially with specific authors that I really like Jodi Picoult, Mark Sullivan. Who else? I don't like Colleen Hoover. Sorry if you like Colleen Hoover. I read Verity, okay? I read Verity. And I read a couple of her others. And they were like okay for what they were, but she's just not my bag. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a shorter video, but I really just wanted to recap my books with you all. And I will see you in the next one, which will be more travel content because I leave for Panama and then Madrid tomorrow. So I will start a new vlog and we will travel to Panama together. So that is what you will see next. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you all. If you're not already subscribed, please make sure to do so, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.